What's up, guys? Welcome to yet another episode of the Building a Buzz podcast. This week, we have a very special guest. It's my girlfriend, Tia. She's been with me for over 4 years. She helped me start the company, and she's been here every step of the way. She's also helped us get those 125 million views on social media. So I'm excited to have her on the podcast so we can pick her brain a little bit and get some of her perspective on how we've grown the company and built our buzz. Without further ado, I'm your host, Justin Buzzi. All right, guys, we are back with a very special guest. This time, we have my girlfriend, Tia. Hey, Tia.
Hello, everyone.
How's it going?
It's going great. I'm about 2 feet away from you and haven't been better.
Yeah, love to hear it. I know we've talked about having you on the podcast multiple times and all of the different topics that we could talk about, but we'll talk about some of the origins of the business, where it's at now, where we're looking to go. And of course, you're one of the owners of a location, so we'll go over some of that as well. But yeah, give the people just a quick intro of who you are and what you're doing now.
Yeah, so as Justin just said, I am Tia. I'm 27 years old. I'm 26 years old. Whatever. I'm 20.
You're almost there.
Do you guys ever get to the age where you're like, how
Past
old am I
25.
again? Yeah, past 25. You're like, how old am I? And you start doing quick math. But 26 years old. I am from South Florida. I moved up here to Orlando 4 years ago now to get my bachelor's in event management, which I did and graduated. So go Knights. I currently am a franchisee of Get Up and Go Kayaking for our Winter Park location. And I also am the marketing manager over at the Melting Pot of Orlando, which is a really delicious restaurant here in the city.
Oh, yeah. I think we probably go to eat there at least once a month. So shout out Melting Pot. Let's start off with kind of the origin of Get Up and Go. There's a couple fun things that have happened along the way that are the reasons really that, we started the company. And I think those are fun little stories. So let's start off with one of the, first dates that we went on that you surprised me with. I had no idea what we were doing, and you can take it from here and tell the people what you took me out to do.
Yeah, so I was living down south, going to school, living with my parents. Justin was living up here in Orlando. So in any moment I could, and whenever we'd have free time to spend together, I would try to look for something out of the ordinary to do, or just something to get us out of the house and just experience each other in a more fun way. So I heard about this bioluminescence phenomenon and was like, you know what? I haven't kayaked in years. I didn't know if Justin did either at the time. But I've heard that it's very good couples therapy. So either you work really well together or we throw each other off the kayak and never see each other again. So it was like two birds with one stone, basically. I'm like, this is team building and this is a fun date. So, and I didn't know what to expect. I've seen like videos of bioluminescent bay in Puerto Rico where it's super pretty and glowy. So just booked it on a whim. I was like, you know what? I'm going to surprise this guy. Maybe this will win him over. So we ended up driving out to the Merritt Island Wildlife Refuge, went on a tour with one of our now competitors, which is so freaking weird. But I would say the date went really well. What would you say, Justin?
Yeah, and definitely. It went super well. We both were in awe of the bioluminescence, and now that we've seen it a lot more often, looking back, the bio wasn't even that bright that night, but we both thought it was the coolest thing ever. And so, it was awesome, but I had no idea what we were doing even on the way out there. And it was super dark. I was like, where are we going? What are we doing? What the heck is going on? You couldn't see anything out there. It was so dark. But the bio was bright enough, for us to see it, and we had a great time. So, this is kind of way even before the seed of Get Up and Go Kayaking was planted.
What's really funny to point out, sorry to interrupt you, but what's really funny is I remember booking this, and I don't remember the exact number, but I want to say it was about $100 or something like that to book it. And I remember Justin ended up finding out how much it was. I probably mentioned it, don't know. But I think you might have asked, like, how much was this? This was so cool.
Yeah.
And I remember telling you it was $100 and we were the only ones booked because it was actually, what a freaking coincidence though, the last day to go for the season.
Yeah.
Like there was no more bio tours after this
It was
date.
like September or it might have been even
It
October.
was like October for sure.
Of 2015.
And I remember telling Justin how much it was, and he was like, so if this guy brings out X amount of people every night, and there were other tours out there where they had a lot of people. And I remember you saying, like, that's X amount of dollars. And that date night.
Yeah, I was like, this is fun. This guy's like having fun.
You were like,
money.
so he just made $100 in an hour and a half. I remember.
Of
kayaking. Yeah. You were like, damn. And that was a year before we even went out on our next date to the Springs, or attempted date at the Springs, where Get Up and Go's idea was born. So telling this just makes me, I don't know, it just really goes to show that things do end up coming full circle.
Yeah, definitely. And, at the time, we never knew where we would be at 5 years later. But it was such a cool date, and definitely recommend it for anyone that hasn't been bioluminescent kayaking. You should 100% try it out, especially in our clear kayaks now. Had to put that in there. But so it was a really cool date. I had never done that before, and like I said, this was before we even had the idea for starting a kayaking company. But after that, Tia ended up moving up to Orlando, probably about a year later. And we started doing more adventurous things, exploring around Florida and beyond. And one day we had decided that we were going to try to go to Blue Springs. And if you guys listen to some of the previous episodes, you'll know that that's where kind of the idea of Get Up and Go kayaking started. So Tia kind of planned that one out too. So we often joke all the time that, the company would never be a thing if Tia never planned these 2 dates for us. So it's just, like she said, it's kind of crazy to see full circle where it's been. So when we started, I started with, what was it? 3 locations, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were doing,
it's crazy, guys. We started with 3 locations. Mind you, Justin was working at the Golf Channel, which he mentioned in episode 1. But these 3 locations that he owned and was running, he was running them all himself. So like going to the Golf Channel during the day from 9 to 5 or even earlier, 8 to 5, whatever. And then on the weekends, doing tours during the day at Rock Springs, then rushing over to Winter Park and doing sunset tours there. And then at late night, going to Titusville, Merritt Island, and doing bio tours to end at 4 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, and wake up and do it all over again. So running 3 separate locations that were all about 45 minutes to an hour away from each other, if not more.
Yeah, it was crazy. And part of the craziness was going viral. Mm-hmm. And so what were you doing at the time that the company started going viral, and, the amount of business that we were doing, obviously went straight up after that. What were you doing at the time?
Yeah. So like Justin said, I moved up here to Orlando. Some will say I moved up here for him, but just for the record, I moved up here to go to UCF, Go Knights. I got my degree in event management. So I'm up here going to school full time. I'm working. And then Justin comes up with this idea to start a clear kayaking company. Within 1 week, he's like, I got my LLC. I'm ready to go. I ordered some kayaks. We're going. So we get the first batch of kayaks in. I don't know how many we got. I want to say we got a few though. Right, Justin?
Yeah, I think on the first one I had 4 to 6.
Yeah, so we were super excited when they came in. We put them together in his 2-bedroom apartment up on the third floor.
We had to carry these 11 and a half foot long kayaks up to the 3rd floor. We tried the elevator, but it did not fit.
Just wouldn't work.
So we had to carry them up the stairs, which was just really funny.
Yeah, so he gets the kayaks and we put them together. We bring them out to the Springs. We take just a few photos. And these things truly do market themselves most of the time. And especially in the beginning, they marketed themselves because people didn't really know about these kayaks or haven't seen them before. So we go out, we take photos, we make videos with our friend Ike. And I knew that a lot of these viral sites, people submit these videos. So I would be in class listening to my teacher lecture halfway and then have my laptop open, not taking notes, but going to like Viral Thread, BuzzFeed, Yahoo, like any. I would just scroll through my timeline because I remember at this time I would just scroll through and all my timeline would be viral videos or memes, and I would just click on the page that posted those memes or viral videos and I would just DM them a video that like our friend Ike shot of the clear kayaks for the first couple of times we took them out. And I would go on their websites. And if you, a lot of the time when you DM these viral media sites, on Facebook at least, they like reply with
It's like automated.
an auto message. So then I would then go to their website and there's usually a submission part of their website that says like submit your content here. And I would just spend hours. I'm not even kidding. I probably it's sick. I was like, I need this guy to go viral. I need this company to go viral. Like, I just believed in it so much. And I probably sent, like I said, 100 to 150 messages to different companies. And then, guys, Hurricane Irma? Was it Irma?
Yeah, it was Irma in 2017.
Yeah. Justin got an opportunity to get a raise at his current job, which was a crazy amount more to be doing his same exact job and not leave the golf channel. And he turned it down to keep guiding his kayak tours full time as a one-man show. So Hurricane Irma hits, Rock Springs gets shut down. You can't give bio tours with hurricane affecting the waterways, and it just changes the temperature of the water. And no one's going to want to kayak during tropical storm winds.
The power's
or anything.
out.
Yeah. No one's going to drive and do that. So this happens within just weeks of each other. And mind you, I started sending those things out before that.
Yeah, you had been sending all of these messages since really the beginning of the company through the first year to year and a half before we ever even got some sort of a response. And, you know, it's crazy because you sent out, you know, like you said, over 100 of different messages trying to get responses and sending them this content. But it all came down to one day when Insider decided to respond to one of those. And so, yeah, right when I quit my job, Hurricane Irma came along. And then this is the same week that we got picked up by Insider, which was the first big company that picked us up to repost our content. And so it was crazy because this was the first time that we started going viral, and the domino effect happened of the other companies seeing that, you know, this footage did really well on Insider. So now BuzzFeed and all of those same companies that you just mentioned are now reaching out to us, wanting us to give them footage so they can post it and get those same views that Insider's getting. So it was just like a really interesting time. And so, yeah, Tia's going to school full time and also working at the Melting Pot. I'm working. Well, I had just quit. And so we started going viral. And then we got just inundated with phone calls and emails. And this is back when we didn't even have like a booking software.
Nope.
So me and Tia were doing all of the bookings through like, what was it? Google Calendar.
It was Google Calendar. For a minute there, I was like, do I need to buy a freaking calendar and just write people's names down?
Yeah, so we were doing all of the bookings manually, which just added a bunch of extra work for us. And our website got shut down because of the amount of traffic that was on it. And thankfully, my friend Tony knew how to put up like an error message until we could get a dedicated server. And that error message was pretty much just like, hey, the website's down due to high volume of traffic, but please email us. And so, you know, we're getting millions of views within like a 2 to 3 day span, and the amount
Hundreds of emails.
The amount of emails was just crazy.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, how late were we up doing those emails? It was crazy for a few weeks to a month or two.
Yeah, it was definitely a few weeks to a couple months. Like I said, Justin was out there giving bioluminescent tours, Winter Park tours, Rock Springs tours. So I was going to school and working, but in between or even during, like I would be at school responding to emails. I'd be up until 2:00 in the morning responding because Justin would be out on the water still or getting home from being out on the water. So it was constantly nonstop. And my mindset was if you miss those emails, those are missed opportunities of people booking. So I didn't want to let them build up and pile up and just not only respond when I was free. I made time even when there wasn't, like just responding because if those people wanted to go out that week or that next week, I wanted to reach everyone as soon as possible. I think it's also important to mention that even though Insider was the one who ultimately posted us, I truly think that those other companies, if they would have opened and looked at the content I sent them, that they would have posted it too.
Mhm.
I think they just didn't either see it
Give it the
or
time.
because a lot of those companies I reached out to initially, those were the same ones wanting that content
Yeah.
again, and I've
So
already
we just
submitted it.
we pretty much just resent the
Hmm.
same stuff that you had submitted, saying, "Hey, we sent you this a year ago.
Yep,
You could have been the first ones to post
I
it, but
know.
it ended up being really cool because now we had some power because these companies were reaching out to us instead of the other way around. And that also allowed us to have direct connections to these companies that we still use,
Yep.
now we still reach out to some of those same people that reach out to us from BuzzFeed and all of those different.
No automated messages anymore,
Yeah,
guys.
thankfully it's been nice. So yeah, so all of that happened. It was crazy for that month or two right after we started going super super viral, and ever since then it's just been growing. For me, after that, I kind of realized that most of my business, and the easier part of the business for me was the location that I could have my trailer there. So for me, that was Rock Springs, and the bio location was doing really well. So I knew I had to keep doing those, but I had enough, business just doing those two locations. And so it was tough for me to keep the Winter Park location going, because I was storing my trailer at Rock Springs. So I would have to drive all the way out there to get my trailer and then drive it to Winter Park, give the tour, and then drive the trailer back out to Rock Springs, which is like, an hour away pretty much from our apartment at this time, and drop the trailer back off and then drive all the way back home. So it didn't really make sense for me to keep doing the Winter Park location. So that's where the opportunity for Tia came in, and I'm sure we'll probably have more opportunities for this. But I asked if she would want to consider running that location because I was using all of my my energy and bandwidth in Rock Springs and the bioluminescent location. So over that, next year, I would say is when we kind of like figured out the best way to do that. And then Tia, you can kind of touch on, I guess, how you started there
Yeah.
and kind of, what the different offerings were and where it's kind of gotten to now too.
Yeah. So when Get Up and Go kayaking first started, I was so engulfed in completing school and working to make some money while I was living in Orlando that being a part of the franchise, I didn't think I financially could do it because you have to spend money to get equipment, and it's thousands of dollars to get that equipment, and it's very small overhead, and you can pay it back really fast. But as a freshly
Yeah,
graduated
what
college student,
what college student has, extra
yeah,
thousands of dollars
yep, and
waiting
yeah.
for them?
And sure, I knew that I could always ask my parents, but I didn't want to. So I remember so clearly, Justin and I were sitting at a sushi restaurant, and he was like, "Oh, Winter Park would be so good to have, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "You know what? I'm now graduated. I think it's a good time." So thanks to my father and mother, I told Justin, listen, I think that I already know how to run stuff because I've seen you do it. I've been really hands-on with the marketing, social media marketing with Get Up and Go kayaking. I know how bookings work. I know how the customer,
Yeah, literally
relations work.
everything.
I was doing it with Justin. I just didn't have a location I was running of my own. And it was cool because at this point, Justin also had employees that were doing tours for him. I had no desire to do tours myself because I'm just not physically capable. I don't think if I needed to I could do it, but I just physically wouldn't want to do that every
Yeah.
day.
It's a long day. I mean,
Yeah.
there's days where some of the locations will do 4 to 6 tours in a day, and that's 4 to 6 tours of 2 hour long tours, and so that ends up being a full 8 to 12 hours of just being on the water
Yeah.
kayaking. So it is a lot of work. Yeah.
Yeah, and I knew that I could get guides like he did, and I saw the interview process. I saw how he runs it, how he manages them, and I just knew I might not be that great at kayaking, but I feel like I could be a really great businesswoman, and I know I can run this because I've helped him along the way. And it was almost, I would say, like my piece of the pie of this thing that we created. And I was excited to have something of my own, of this giant, soon to be empire of kayaking locations. So super exciting opportunity. Justin was like, listen, that would be amazing. At this point, people were also calling to do winter park tours because Rock Springs were getting so booked up, and so were the bio tours.
Yeah, and we had footage from Winter Park. We
really
had
cool
promoted it
location.
before. We weren't really utilizing it when all of the viral stuff was happening because I was just so busy at those other two locations. And like I said, the logistics of running it was tough. So, I knew Tia could handle it because she had done everything from the beginning with me along the way. So it ended up being like a perfect opportunity for her, perfect opportunity for me. And I knew that she would be able to grow that location a whole lot more than I could. And so, yeah, it ended up working out really well. Tia started up Winter Park. When was that you kind of took over?
I want to say it was like a September, October, November vibe. I don't know. It was around that time.
It was like, it's 2 years ago now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Tia's been running that location, I would say 2 years or more.
Yeah. I
solely.
graduated in August 2 years ago. And a couple months later, like I said, I felt like I was in a good position. I remember calling my dad and saying, hey, Get Up and Go is doing so good. And he knew it because my parents would follow it and they would see how big it was becoming and how successful Justin was and just how involved we both were. And it was really becoming something bigger than what we could have imagined. So I said, listen, Dad, I know I just freaking graduated and you and Mom have done so much for me and are the best parents ever. But listen, I really want to take over this Winter Park location because nothing is currently happening there. I just need a $15,000 loan from you to get like a trailer, to get some kayaks from China. I just need $15,000. If you can make that happen, great. My dad was like, listen, Tia, I believe in you. I believe in this business. I know Justin has a really good head on his shoulders and knows what he's doing. Make me a business plan and we'll talk about it.
There we go.
Business plans, guys.
Yes.
They don't teach you how to make a business plan in college these days, at least not my college of event management.
I didn't either.
But I had a nice guy here who had a really great skeleton of a business plan that may have helped me a tad with it, minus a few words that I had to change up. So I make this business plan that Justin helped me with. Very, very great idea because it's really exciting to kind of see like if I give this many tours a month, at this cost, I can make this much money. And thankfully, my dad trusted me and trusted the process. And I was able to pay back that loan within 4 months. So super exciting. And I'm just glad that he believed in me and believed in the business plan. And it's actually funny because this was 2 years ago now, and my dad actually now owns a location. So he was like, let me get in on this because damn.
Yeah, he just saw what was going on. And it's been so cool having him and you as franchisees. And, he was super involved because of you being super involved.
I know.
So it there keeps being these like full circle moments where something happens and then it comes back to you, a year or two later and you get a good opportunity out of it, which is pretty cool. So Tia offers glow-in-the-dark, sunset, and daytime tours in Winter Park. It's a really cool location. The canals in there are like super scenic, and it's just a fun, like I would say it's probably one of our best like date night locations because it's an easy paddle and it's just like a really fun, unique location. And so we get a lot of like couples that go out there. We had that proposal out there.
Yeah, it's really romantic and it's so different. It's not a spring. It's not like an intercoastal or, it's a lake and it has this almost resemblance to Venice. So it has these Venetian styles canals. And it doesn't even feel like you're in Florida, guys.
Yeah, it's
crazy. Dreamy.
And all the houses on the lakes are multi-million-dollar houses. So it's fun, like going by and looking at houses that are millions of dollars, and just seeing that as you're that close to it on the water is really a unique way to experience that. And last year we did like a a Halloween themed tour where it was kind of like, what is it at Universal that they do?
It's Halloween Horror
Halloween
Nights.
Horror Nights. So it was similar to that. Like we had all of these different props set up along the shorelines as the people were paddling through at nighttime. It was really cool. So the whole location has been kind of revamped since I was able to run it back when I first started the company, and now that Tia's been taken over there, it's just been constantly growing in the last 2 years, which has been really, really fun for me to see, and obviously fun for Tia along the way. But yeah, so now we're at the point where we have 12 different locations open, and we have a really good method of doing business and whatnot. But what are some of the big marketing things that maybe you've done or we've done along the way that you think have really helped us get to where we are now and gotten you to be able to grow that location from being, pretty much stagnant at the time where I couldn't handle it to where it is now?
Yeah. So as far as marketing goes, I can't stress this enough. Social media is where it's at. I'm telling you guys, don't spend the money on printed ads or website banner ads. I know some people do and it works for them, but social media is so key. It's unreal.
Yeah, especially I think like you have to mention that it's super important for outdoor, recreation, our type of industry, because for some people it's not as useful as, for others, but for our industry, like there's nothing better than social media, for showing people what it is and other people enjoying it and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think what's really cool about our company is you don't have to be an avid kayaker. You could just be a girl or a guy who just wants a really bomb Instagram photo. And our company truly does market itself, especially on social media. So people who are very into Instagram, Facebook, the pictures look so cool that people want to make those pictures of their own. Another really cool thing about working for Get Up and Go, having a Get Up and Go kayaking location is I found a passion in social media. When Justin first started the company, I was helping him with Instagram, and we'll go over some techniques that I think really helped us grow the company. But I was hostessing at the Melting Pot, like I mentioned earlier, and I obviously have to follow my job on Instagram and see what they're posting. I thought, this is a really cool Instagram, but maybe it needs my touch. So I approached my boss, Mark Conway, who's a very, very smart businessman. We have to get him on one day.
Oh yeah, he would be great.
Yeah. And I was like, listen, I would like to take over your guys' Instagram. I think I could do a great job and really build our following on there. And he gave me the opportunity to also take over Melting Pot's Instagram. So I was doing both Instagrams, and I don't care what anyone tells you. Do not buy followers. Do not buy followers. Do not pay for
likes or
don't do that stuff, because you're going to pay for followers and likes from people who are never going to come to your business.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, if you have 100,000 followers and no one lives in your area or cares what you're doing, it's not going to matter. I would rather have 100 people that really care,
Yes.
About it, obviously. But yeah, that's a super good point, and a way that you can get kicked off is social media too.
To me, it's like he's trusting in Mark was trusting in paying me to do the marketing for his business. Let's say, and I would never do this, if I bought followers or paid for anything not genuine followers or anything like that, or interactions, he is going to see that he's paying me for marketing, but it's not increasing his business at all. Yeah. It's not changing anything in his restaurant.
Yeah.
So, very thankful that he did that, because we grew our following over, 1,000 followers in just a couple of months. He had a really great incentive for me, which was really cool. So, we had to come up with different ideas on events and just cool ideas of how to build our following. So giveaways are really, really fun. It's a really cool way to engage. And the people who are going to enter those giveaways are going to be locals and people who are actually going to win the prize and be able to redeem the prize.
Yeah.
So,
and the cool thing with that is too, the more that, you interact, or let's just say your customer interacts with your business, the more that they're actually going to see your business every time that you end up posting. So with giveaways, it's cool because those people are going to obviously interact with you. And even if they don't win the giveaway, your page is going to show up more on their page.
Yep.
So it ends up working multiple ways for you because now you're getting more followers, but you're also increasing your interactions for every post after that, because now, you had so many interactions on that one that the way that Instagram works is your picture is going to show up more on their feed because they've interacted with you. So it ended up working out really well for you guys. Tia grew that Instagram like very quickly, which was really great. And it's just cool to, like, for me, when we started Get Up and Go Kayaking, we obviously looked up all of our competitors on Instagram, and we strive to, just have a better Instagram and better social media presence.
Better website. That was a huge one that Justin really went after.
Yeah. And for social media in particular, like, it's so easy to tell who's putting the time and effort into it and who's not. So it's cool, like, seeing some of Tia's competitors, in the restaurant industry that aren't putting the time and effort into it, and you can see the difference and how it helps. It's pretty clear when you just go and look at the interactions and the amount of likes and follows and stuff. It's really cool. So
a piece of advice I would even give is, if you're another business owner and maybe you don't want to put the time in for social media, don't pay for these ads and these weird, like, third-party sites to advertise for you in their magazine and stuff like that. Spend X amount of money, and you have marketing budgets for, different companies, for someone to run your social media. And guys, I'm telling you, that is where you're going to build your business. It's word of mouth, social media, reviews, especially. I have so many little tricks and tips for social media that maybe I can share with you guys right now.
Yeah, go ahead. We can go through them quickly. What are some good Instagram hacks?
Okay, Instagram hacks. So the first one I'm going to go over is, so we're in Orlando, for example. I'm going to go to the Orlando hashtag. I'm going to go to Disney World hashtags. I'm going to go to the Disney World location, Universal location, different things that I think my audience would be doing in Orlando or where they would be at in Orlando. And I'm going to go through their Instagram hashtags, and I'm going to like all the photos in that hashtag.
Yeah, in the recent section.
So
yes. You know that they're in the area recently. Currently.
And the reason you're going to do that is because, say Joe Schmo is at Universal Studios right now, and I see he posted a photo 23 minutes ago. Get Up and Go Kayaking or Melting Pot or whoever, whatever it is, just liked your photo. He is now in the mood for fondue, or he's in the mood to take a really bomb Instagram photo on a kayak. And he might follow you too. So I think that's a really smart hack, is to go through competitors, not like direct competitors, but like other restaurants or other nearby locations that your potential guest could be visiting, and just interact with them. Comment on their photo. Say, this looks really cool, or yum, that looks delicious, or come join us for dessert, or if you're looking for something fun to do in the area, join us afterwards, or would love if you paddled with us. Interact with them, like their post, max out your likes every single day, multiple times a day if you need to. Pay someone to just do it for you. Interact with people. It's going to pay off. And that's how I truly think Get Up and Go grew their following organically, is by interacting with people and engaging with them.
Yeah, for sure. That was probably the biggest thing that helped. And it was easy for us to just look at other springs that we could go and interact with people on and stuff like that. And I went a little bit more into like Instagram hacks on a previous episode. I think I did a whole episode just on that. So go check that one out. You guys can learn a little bit more about how to grow your following on Instagram. But what else do you do that, maybe some of the other companies aren't doing that you've noticed along the way, whether it be, reviews, whether it be, I don't know, anything that you can think of that has helped?
I think reviews are really, really important. So putting a focus on that, incentivizing your employees, and also letting your guests know to leave a review on these different platforms: Facebook, Google My Business, Yelp. Those are all going to help. Those are all marketing. It's essentially all marketing. I know the first thing I do when I'm traveling anywhere or looking for a new experience or a place to eat, I go on TripAdvisor and I see what they're ranked and I look at the reviews. I'm a weirdo like that. I love reading bad reviews and good reviews. So
yeah.
It's marketing.
And so we incentivize our tour guides to get more reviews and have those reviews mention their name, which I think is really awesome because future guests can then go on and see, hey, Angela has got so many reviews. I really hope she's my guide. Or they can ask us when they're working, and we'll let them know, and they can get that person that they've read it so much about online.
What's important, I think, about reviews too, in that I notice a lot of competitors, whether it's the restaurant industry or kayaking industry, don't do, is they either don't reply timely, or they don't
reply
or
at
they
all.
don't reply at all. And then another thing is they will copy and paste the exact same.
That's the worst.
When it's a bad review and you notice like 5 people said, "Oh, the food sucked," or the wait was so long. I'm so sorry to hear about that. We hope you can give us another try. We're so the same. No, you know what? Let them know. No one's, or let us know how we could do better. First of all, they can't reply to your reply to their review. Like, give them a different point of contact. Email me here so I can make this right. You need to reply efficiently, which is very timely. Personalize your response and find a solution where you guys can communicate further.
Yeah, and be nice about it. There's so many times where, how many times have we looked up, other companies and they've got
so
like
nasty.
a couple bad reviews, which isn't bad. You're going to get some doing business. There's people out there that are going to leave bad reviews no matter what. But the way that you respond to it is super important. And we've been across so many businesses that just like the way that they respond to bad reviews makes you not want to go to that company. If they just handled it a little bit nicer and more respectfully, like it would make the customer feel so much better, or a future customer feel so much better about using them as a service provider or whatever it is. But those are super important tips for responding to reviews. That's especially in the restaurant industry where there's so many customers every day and a lot of reviews and so many moving parts. It's super important, but also in a smaller business setting like ours where, we need to be super customized to each person's experience and make sure that even though all these different people have different needs, we're still giving them a great experience. And so the customer feedback is really what fuels our decisions, as a business and also our tour guides, and making sure that we give them proper training and so on and so forth. There's so many
a learning opportunity.
Yeah, there's just so many like important things about reviews, and Tia does a great job. I know Melting Pot. If you guys don't know, because I know, but Melting Pot is the #1 restaurant in all of Orlando on TripAdvisor.
Insane. Out of thousands.
Which is like insane. How many
huge.
restaurants are in Orlando? And so you can only imagine how many reviews Tia has responded to. And so she's seen it all and has been able to do a really good job of getting those timely responses and making sure that they're really customized for each person that is writing in and leaving a review. So she's been a great person for that, and has helped teach me and our company a lot about reviews as well, and the way that they use social media. There's some cool overlap that she can use on her Melting Pot social media from techniques that she's used with Get Up and Go, and then vice versa. So it's fun being able to like experiment, with two different, completely different types of businesses.
And it's nice because then it's not like a conflict of interest either. So
yeah, exactly.
It's nice.
Exactly. So it's been awesome. The way that Winter Park has grown has been really cool to see, and where it's at now has, I think your last couple of months have been your best months ever.
I know. It's nice when every month is like, oh my God, I did this much last year, and now I'm over double. No, well, not doubling, but
but doing
what I mean.
a lot more.
Yeah, I'm like, it's, to me, it just, everything comes full circle. And I know this sounds really cheesy, guys, but to manifest what you want in life and it coming true. Like, I remember when I was younger, I was like, oh my God, I'm getting emotional. You can cut this.
No, keep going.
I was like, I'm going to be freaking successful one day. And I always knew I wasn't going to, I don't know, like,
sit at a desk.
And like, I always knew I wanted to, money's not everything, but I knew I wanted to be like well off and be very happy with like who I'm with. And it's so crazy what 5 freaking years did. Like we now live in this.
Life is so different from
It's so
then
crazy,
to now.
guys. We
Yeah.
live in this beautiful home. We have 2 freaking awesome dogs. We are day in and day out running this incredible company that I am now a part of and that Justin has created for like our family and friends now. And we're able to go on these incredible vacations and do these crazy excursions. And I don't know, it almost feels like crazy how much we can do in life and still how successful we are. And it's crazy. We actually took out The Bachelor. I'm like so bipolar. We brought out The Bachelor on a bio tour recently. And I was driving home and I'm literally in tears crying because it's probably that time of month and also because I'm just a freaking sap. And we were driving and I'm hysterical. And I said, Justin, one of our first dates was this. What if I would have told you 5 years ago, we're going to be bringing out The freaking Bachelor? That is our level of success.
Yeah, I would have not believed that then, but yeah, and we'll do a whole episode on like influencer stuff because I think we could go pretty deep into that.
That's a whole other episode.
But yeah, that was another full circle moment. You know, that was where the first ever time that we had gone kayaking together, that was the location that we went, and now we're giving a private tour to Matt James and Tyler Cameron, and it was just like we both couldn't believe that this is what our lives have panned out to be.
I know.
And it was crazy.
It's just, I don't like like what Justin said. It's just, who would have freaking thought, guys? I think the lesson here, and I will preach this until I die because of Justin and just the people we've surrounded ourselves with in life, but it's so easy to have an idea and to just say that something sounds cool and that would do so well, or, oh, that would be so great to have a business that's clear kayaking. But to actually set forth and take the steps to making it something real and taking such a risk, and I think that's what I want to preach is take risks, because even Justin taking out a loan was a risk. Everything is such a risk. He took that risk and look what he has now. Like, he can buy his dream car. We can travel wherever we want to travel to and enjoy life and not feel like we're taking a big hit to do things. And I don't know, it's just take risks and never just let something be an idea in your head, like a really great idea. Take really great ideas and make them into something and manifest them. Yeah.
And calculated risk too. Don't just take a risk.
Make your business plan, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Don't just take a risk to take a risk, but yeah, I mean, starting a business is always a risk, but do your homework and your due diligence before you take that risk and dive headfirst into it. But once you dive headfirst into it, keep swimming. Don't do it half-ass. And great things can come of it if you've done the right steps along the way. And yeah, I completely agree with everything that you've said. And it's just, it's crazy where this whole thing has gone. And, we're hopeful that over the next, 2-3 years that it will continue to grow at the pace that it has. Pretty much I feel like we've been opening 3-4 locations every year. So almost like quarterly, we've been opening new locations. So hopefully we'll continue at that pace, open up, some new locations outside of Florida, which would be really cool as well. But I think we should probably just have a whole, series of like in-depth things that we could talk about, because I think
there's so much, guys, like our personal travels and like how we build out things like that and how everything just kind of overlaps. Yeah. And
you fill in the blanks when I, forget what to say.
Oh my God, how romantic.
Oh, here we go.
I fill in his blanks.
She fills in my blanks. So you do a good job of filling in the blanks of things that I forget to talk about, and you have a much better memory than I do. Guys. So
elephant's memory.
I know it's bad. So thank you so much for taking the time out, obviously, to do the podcast with me.
Thanks for listening to me blabber and cry and just be so grateful.
Yes, thanks a whole bunch, Tia, for joining on this episode of the Building a Buzz podcast. We got to go take our dogs out. Until next time, bye.